There has been so much buzz and anticipation surrounding Martin Scorsese's latest project, The Irishman, his gangster picture that sees a rare break from his collaborations with Leonardo DiCaprio and instead saw him work with his old friend Robert De Niro for the first time in years. Now that The Irishman is near complete, we can turn our attention to what Scorsese's next movie will be. For a few years, it was thought that he would follow up The Irishman with an adaptation of Devil in the White City, but now, seeing as though that's going to be a Hulu series, it left the door open for another project Scorsese had in the pipeline, Killers of the Flower Moon. This is an adaptation of a book that Scorsese is very excited about, mentioning in the past that when reading the novel he could visualize the scenes and the sets and the characters, and he felt compelled to make a movie about it. The story is set in 1920s Oklahoma, concerning wealthy Osage Indians who start getting bumped off one by one, and so do the people investigating the murders. The newly created FBI, headed by J. Edgar Hoover, are brought in to overcome the influence of corruption and politics to solve the murder mysteries. Sounds good, doesn't it? The book is apparently brilliant. Pre-production on the film is set to begin in around November, and filming is slated for the spring and summer of 2020. Paramount Pictures are set to distribute the film, so unlike The Irishman, the movie will get a wide release in cinemas. The film will mark the sixth collaboration between Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio. DiCaprio, who has previously played the head of the FBI J. Edgar Hoover in a Clint Eastwood movie, will this time apparently play Tom White, an ex-Texas Ranger who joined the FBI in its early stages, and he was put in charge of the Osage investigation. One of the most interesting things about this project was that there were some heavy rumors that frequent Scorsese muse Robert De Niro would be in the film. The man himself spoke several times of a project that he, Scorsese, and DiCaprio were working on, and by the looks of some recent reports from the likes of Tulsa World and HN Entertainment, it looks like he is going to be in the film, as the report suggests that during a meeting between Martin Scorsese and Chief Jeffrey Standing Bear of the Osage Nation, who are going to be involved with the making of the film, Scorsese, according to Standing Bear, revealed that Robert De Niro has agreed to play William Hale, one of the main characters and villains of the story. This means that, aside from a casino advert called The Audition that Scorsese made a few years back, this marks the first collaboration between Scorsese, De Niro, and DiCaprio. It's been a long time coming, and it seems odd that the three haven't yet worked together. De Niro and Scorsese's partnership is legendary, producing films like Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. The two have talked in the past about having a near telepathic understanding and connection about their characters and movies. When working with DiCaprio on This Boy's Life, De Niro spoke to Scorsese about the up-and-coming DiCaprio, introducing the two and advising Scorsese to work with him. It ended up becoming a passing of the torch moment, as DiCaprio took over as Scorsese's main collaborator, playing the protagonist in 4 Scorsese films in a row, and then again in The Wolf of Wall Street in 2013. And De Niro has never worked with Scorsese again, until 2019's The Irishman, of course. You'd think maybe that Scorsese would have found a role for his friend over the years in one of his many films, in a decade or two where De Niro hasn't been in much of any value. And seeing as though the duo and DiCaprio are so close, it seemed inevitable that they would all collaborate together, and it looks like that collaboration is finally here. A new Scorsese and De Niro film is always something special. Every single one of their collaborations has produced something great. It's a blessing to receive one last film from the duo with The Irishman, but a second film immediately after? Now we're just being spoiled. And it's unlikely to be a token role where De Niro is shoved into the movie for the sake of it, because the two never work with each other unless they have something new to explore. It's this kind of working relationship that has kept their collaboration special. To be honest with you, I've never really been a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio. I just never really see him disappear into his roles. It always just looks like he's playing dress-up in every Scorsese movie. He always looks like he's acting, if that makes sense. And when you compare this to De Niro's roles in Scorsese's films, I mean, look at Travis Bickle. It's a completely different person to Rupert Pupkin, who's completely different to Jake LaMotta, who is different from Jimmy Conway, and so on and so forth. And it's not just the way De Niro has carved all these memorable characters, but the diversity of what kind of characters he plays. In one film, he's the protagonist. In another, he's a supporting character. In another, he's a co-lead. In another, he's the villain. Compare that with DiCaprio, and really, it just looks like Leonardo DiCaprio acting in Shutter Island, Leonardo DiCaprio acting in The Departed, etc. And he's always playing the main character. I hardly ever even remember his characters' names, whereas with De Niro, each character feels like a real person. Part of me wishes Scorsese would mix it up more with the leads in his movies, but hey, the two clearly love working with each other, and all of their films have been great. Killers of the Flower Moon will mark the bringing together of old and new for Scorsese. I read up a little on De Niro's role in the film, and his character is an absolute scumbag. It's a really good role for him, and it seems that not only will he and DiCaprio be in the same movie, but will be pitted directly against each other in the story. Thanks for watching.